Hey guys, John Dyes here with Crisfield Computers. Welcome to another edition of Tech Bench. Today we're going to take a look at an iPhone 6 Plus screen replacement. We're going to go ahead and walk you through what we do on an iPhone 6 Plus screen replacement. Got the phone. It does power up, but there's no touch whatsoever. And sometimes if you tap it just right, the screen ends up having an issue. So we're going to go ahead and replace the screen. We want to go ahead and power down the phone. Press and hold the button over here on the right hand side until the phone cuts off. Slide the power. Can't slide the power because this phone's not working. Alright, so we're going to have to take this phone apart while it's on. Be extremely careful, guys, when you do this. We don't want to have any short circuits or problems, anything like that. We're going to be using a numbered baggie system today, and these numbered baggies are 1 through, I believe, 6. We might get 7 on this phone, but I think it's just 6. We go ahead and put all the screws in here so that we can organize them, keep them straight. Let's go ahead and get started on this and see where we can go. Let me give you all a little bit closer of a view here. And we're going to go ahead and this is a pentalobe driver. All right, we've got those out. Put them in a bag. We're going to use the slack. I can never figure out how to say it. We're going to position this just underneath of the home button. Push it down. We'll make sure it gets enough suction. And on the back side, we're just going to miss the gray bar on the back side of that. We want them somewhat over top of each other to help with it. And it'll just pull it literally right open. So easy there. So we'll go ahead and take this off. That'll be the last time we'll use that tool in this particular case. And once we've got the screen like that, we want to be careful and slowly crack it open so that it will be in the upright position. And let's go ahead and pull you out just a little bit, guys. Put you back up here. Normally on the smaller phones, we'll use a thing like this. It's not going to work because obviously the size of this phone. So what I'm going to do is use my hand to hold it, and we're going to go ahead and take off the screws for the battery. We want to start here because we need the phone to have no power going through it while we're doing this. Alright, and to get that cover off, we're going to use a plastic spludger. And go ahead and disconnect the battery. There we go. Get that battery disconnected. And I usually just put a little bit of a bend back in it so it doesn't actually make contact anymore. We want to make sure we do our bagging, make sure everything is bagged in order so that we don't lose any screws. It makes the process very easy when you go to put things back together. Alright, so next step we're going to do is I want to just glance, make sure there is a water tab right here, guys. We'll make sure that's not pink. If it's pink, that means they had damage to it. So here's the other thing. This came in because it didn't have a... there was no touch and the LCD panel was having some issues. I don't really see a lot of drop damage on this. I was told there was water damage. So we have no clue what to expect when we test this out. we're going to go ahead and hook up a known good LCD to it. See if we get the touch function back. And if we get the touch function back, we'll know where the damage was situated at. If it's more than that, well, we'll just have to see what can be done, if anything. Alright, and while we're right here, we're going to go ahead and take apart these couple cables on this phone. This is the webcam, digitizer, LCD panel, and so on. So we've got that off. Just take a moment here to clean up our screws. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this one right here is the long one. So the top right corner is your long one out of the ones you pulled off. Top right corner is the long one. Works through on most of the iPhones. Alright, so we've got our starting place here. Go ahead and grab a new screen. When we test this, we're just going to hook it up, and we're looking to ensure that the digitizer is going to work. Make sure that there's nothing wrong with the board in the digitizer, the main board in here. Always want to make sure those are firmly down. Alright, let's go ahead and apply some power back to it and do a quick test sequence just to make sure that the screen isn't going to have any issues. Occasionally we'll find a bad LCD on them, but we know that these are from good sources, and we should be able to test once we get in here if the at least if the digitizer is working, so we get the camera up. So digitizer's working. We can do the password. This particular instance, the password. Let me just pull that off screen real quick. See if I can get this password in. Everything works good. No SIM card inserted. And everything is looking good. Alright, so now that we got that done, let's go ahead and we're going to power it off, since we can do it the right way this time. There's a bubble in the little plastic sheet. Alright, so we got that done. We're going to lift her back up, use our plastic spludger to get the battery cable back and get the two cables off. So now that's good. We've got a known good screen. We know it's working on our device, and I'm going to go ahead and start finishing her up. Alright. When I start doing the work on the screen side of things, I make sure that I have a foam pad. I don't want to scratch the screen. So we'll put the good screen on there since it's out of its packaging. And let's finish taking some stuff off of this. I like starting down here near the bottom. The home button. Pull that off. Been having a time with my screwdrivers lately. You know what? Somebody might have stripped this. No? Oh, that's so strange that my screwdrivers aren't acting right for me. I wonder if it's just the foam messing with me today. Yeah, it was the foam messing with me. Sorry, guys. All right, go ahead and do this one as well. Most of the time, the foam doesn't create any problem. Apparently it did this morning. All right, and another baggie down. Next, I do the webcam up here. Guess I wasn't doing too much on camera for you. There's 3 screws up there, long ones in the middle. And that is number 6. And in this one, I put the heat shield in there. I don't worry about the rest of the cables. So the last and final thing I'll do before we take the webcam out is we will go through and take these screws off of the sides of them. Of the this back plate. Screen replacement's really not that hard, guys. It's just a repetitive thing that you kind of have to get the feel for it so you don't rip the cables out and all of that stuff. We get in a lot of phones here that other people have ripped the cables out when taking the screen out. Then you have cameras not working or the speaker's not working and stuff like that. So we're going to go ahead and pull out the speaker. That just slides right out. Then we are going to work our way through this webcam. You'll end up seeing that the webcam's actually a separate cable from this cluster. I like pulling the webcam slowly out. Take the top camera, not the camera, the light sensor, pull that up, and then you'll see the little cable here. If you gently pull on it, you can get it up just enough that then I take the spludger and I start just working a little bit of that spludger. It's not sharp, and then we work our way all the way around. Now this is 2 pieces. Usually when we pull off this, it comes off with the rubber piece, but when you back off this adhesive piece, you end up with everything that you'll need for the new screen. Set that off to the side real quick. While we're right here, the other thing that you'll need is this little plastic camera adjustment piece. You can usually just pull her right out. She's not in there very good. She just sits. So we also got that. I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera. Alright, so we got all of that top stuff out. And I noticed I missed a screw right there and right there. So we'll go ahead and pull those out. and make sure we find them to the correct baggies. Back down here. And they were in baggie number 5. All right. Next thing is we've got to take the home button out. There is a little piece right here. Just pops right off. All right, that connects to this board here. And then you've got the home button. So generally speaking, we can apply just a very light amount of pressure and get the adhesive off. There we go. You want to be ever so light so that the adhesive just comes off and you don't tear the button up. Once you do that, put the spludger underneath of the board and pull the board out. This is a replacement screen. It's got to be. It's showing all the signs. The stuff's coming out really easy. I don't see any Apple logos on the cabling, so it's kind of interesting. Oh, there's an Apple logo. Maybe it is the original. I don't know. Just seems like there's not enough markings on the screen cable. I don't see anything else that's giving me a hint, but just something doesn't feel like this is the first time this has happened. You know what? I'm looking at it right now and it's not. I'm pretty sure that's in the wrong place, which could be half of their problem on why the screen wasn't working right. Yeah, this is a replacement. My lord. This thing don't look very good at all. Y'all know that's supposed to sit on top. So, that sits on top. Somebody's replaced this screen or been in here, messed with it. And that's why it didn't work. So, good news is they didn't mess up the home button when they were messing with it. So I take the back edge now and just kind of push up on this. Now once you know that this has been taken apart, there's two things. It's either going to come off really easy, or some idiot doesn't know how to put things together and puts it back on wrong with the wrong adhesive, like something permanent. So let's see what needs to be done. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little heat because I don't know what they've put on there. So I always get worried when places that obviously aren't very good at what they do start pretending like they are. Alright. Yeah, I don't know what they use for adhesive on there, but that's silly. Really silly. Ain't no need for that. Alright. So we know that this panel's something's gone on with this panel. Usually the good companies mark off their some of this stuff, the LCDs, these Apple logos, and some of them just don't care. Alright, so we know this one works. Not labeled with Apple anywhere. You know what though? It's got Apple part number, so could be Apple. A lot of these places reuse the LCD panel and just replace the glass. So you'll find any number of things going on with this stuff. Remember, this goes on top, not underneath. I don't know what they were thinking. They weren't. They didn't. They thought they were iPhone techs. There's reasons why people shouldn't be doing this stuff. It goes just like that. Look, there's cutouts in the metal for where it sits in there. Alright. So, I'm going to stop ranting about that. Let's get these screws in, then I'll put all the adhesive down that we put on these. I like to put adhesive back on this little thing if it needs it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then I put a little bit of adhesive there just to hold it in place so I don't tear it. Get this up here so y'all can see where I'm doing. Alright, put that back in, and I thought they might have had a bigger one. Doesn't look like it. You know what? That one is. So it looks like the top and the bottom are bigger on this particular model for the screws. So just pay attention to that when you're doing it. Alright. We're getting there, guys. Cool part about this video is if you already know half of what you're doing or think you do, you can forward around, go back, forward, whatever. But we just figured we share it. I really don't like the tutorials on iPhone repair. I think it's one of those things that you should go to somebody that does it quite a bit. Not your friend, not your neighbor. And, you know, actually get some help. There's other videos we do that are tutorials and tips and things like that. But iPhone repair will never be one of them. I don't want to tell you what size screwdrivers and so on. Now, there'll be links over in the show notes. Right over to the right. Left, sorry. Camera's got me a little backwards. So over to the left, you'll have links to, you know, Amazon, so you can pick up your tools, do your iPhone, things like that. I'd be wary about where you buy your screen. That's always the big thing. I won't link anywhere to buy a screen. Man, I'll tell you what, I'd hate the link be up and person I referred start selling junk. The tools don't really matter too much when you buy them. You usually can get most of these tools on Amazon. Everybody sells them. You can get a lot of these computer stores like Fry's or Micro Center even carry a little iPhone repair kit. And it don't matter what size tool, as long as they fit your hand, feel good, you won't strip the screws, you know, treat your customer good. I also put a link to my adhesive in there. Scotch permanent adhesive. This is what I'll use back here. So you just run a little strip of it down. It's permanent, but it's not. It's not one of those, you know, you'll never get it off type deals. We use it for quite a bit here in the store. Yeah, so whatever their adhesive is, once I heated it up, it went away. So we'll pop that back real quick and just give it a little tap of love. just so it'll stay in place. Then I'll put the home button in. That'll be the next thing I do. And before I position the actual button itself, I want to find the two nipples that are right there and there, and line those up and line up this connector. Ooh. Once I get the connector and those two little nipples lined up, that's when I'll tap the home button into place. Just give it a quick little press, make sure the adhesive's still sticky, so if you have to do anything. And then what I would do at this point, just because it's easy, I would go find the touchpad buttons in bag number 4, if you're using my bagging scheme, and pop the bracket on there. Same way it came off. And let's get this on here. All right. That looks good. Make sure your button still pushes. You should hear a little click. And that's good. So we've got almost everything getting into play. It's exciting. We're almost there, everybody. All right, one thing you will need to do on my particular screen, just make sure, if you'll notice, it doesn't line up. So you'll want to pull, has some adhesive on here. A lot of different iPhones will have a little adhesive right there. Just pull it down and then just move it up just enough that you can get by. You want to make sure your connections will get in. All right, and everything is looking good so far. I'm excited. Next step is going to be your webcam. All right. While we're right here, there is a piece of plastic that covers up the adhesive right here. And then I always line this piece up first. There's another one of these nipples right above the adhesive. Go ahead and just set it in there. Don't press too hard. We don't want to make anything permanent just yet. And then the next thing we want to do is get the light sensor back into its place and then come and push. Once the light sensor's lined up, we can push on everything else. All right. Now, little glass piece is going to go back in. It's kind of like a D if you look at it. The D faces down. D for down. Then your speaker goes in. My little light sensor isn't sticking in very well. Isn't staying. Once the speaker gets in, everything holds itself in. There we go. Once we get the speaker in, you put the speaker connection cable over top of its two nipples, and you'll hold with your finger, grab baggie number 6. and position it so that you can get it on there. Double check everything, double check. It's not a discount double check, it's a save your butt double check. Alright, so this one actually looks like it's got 2 long screws. The 6s only have 1. So start it in there. Remember, anytime you move, double check, double check, double check. And last screw on the webcam. We are almost home free, guys. This is very exciting. The great part about being done is getting done. The bad part is when we get done, we have to say goodbye to you guys. All of our connectors look right. And get my baggies out of the way. We're into the home stretch. So we're going to grab the base of the phone. Start from top. Make sure each cable firmly connects in. Line it up, then push down. You want to make sure, again, everything is firmly connecting. If it doesn't, you can short things out. You can have problems. And things may not work. All right. Get the heat shield on here. All right, so on these, you'll see in the other videos I've talked about, let's work our way up. So let's work our way up. Reason being, try to alleviate as much pressure on the cables as possible. Because as we do this, it will put pressure on the cables. There we go. And I don't like to put them all the way in to start, because if it gets off a line just a little bit, you won't be able to move things around. So once you get 2 in, that's pretty good alignment. Tighten down the first one. Alright, remembering our longest one goes on the top right. So I did bottom, bottom, top right. Now we're going to do the left middle. And the left top. All right. Got that done. We'll go ahead and put the power back on. Now, just before I seal everything up, I want to test it out one more time. I want to make sure that this thing's going to come on, the touch going to work, and make sure things just right. Because what would be worse than to finish putting it all back together and find out something didn't work? All right, and the touch is still working, so that's good. Now for this, I want to be very careful because I still have the phone on, and make sure that we're getting screws in the right holes. Alright, that's the last of the screws. And then what we do is these pieces here, we slide up, and then we start from the top down, gently pressing till the whole thing's sealed. Go around, make sure everything's sealed up. Uh-oh. Let me try this real quick. Alright. Yeah, it's still working. So, let me do it again real quick off screen. Yeah. So yeah, button works. I had me a little scared because it weren't pulling up the lock screen the way I normally see. There we go. It was apparently me not doing something right. Double check, double check. Make sure everything's going to work for us. Alrighty, last of the screws that are going in are on the bottom. And once we get these in, I think we'll be ready to go. Alright, she is working. Hey guys, thanks for watching that video and hanging out with me today on TechBench. The iPhone that we repaired is doing great. Everything is working on it. It's been tested and everything went perfect. So if you guys have any comments, questions, anything, leave them in the comments below and I'd be glad to hear them. I really enjoy reading comments on these videos. And also if you have any want to do screen repair on your own, go ahead and click on the left hand link over there, and there are links at Amazon that you can go grab some of the tools. I mean, we try to make it easy for you guys to grab whatever on our videos, and you know, it's the same price if you shop Amazon direct, but a small portion does come back to us to help support this channel. Alright guys, we'll see you. Oh, today is the 24th, so have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in the next Tech Bench.